So I just had a conversation that made me have to do this video right now. And although the principles are going to apply to you, even if you're in a slightly different situation, today I am speaking directly to you, directly to that expat here in Mexico, that person who has moved abroad, whether that was for retirement or to bring your kids up in a bilingual environment or to live a slower life and enjoy it more, whatever the case may be, you're here. Felicidades, bienvenido. But you're finding that you're struggling to speak Spanish confidently. And you're realizing that living here in Mexico without speaking Spanish comfortably is an even bigger challenge than you had anticipated. Maybe you thought that being immersed would be enough, that you would just pick it up along the way. But it's been weeks, months, or even years, and you're finding that you're still struggling. You're still freezing up in conversations. In fact, you're going out of your way to avoid conversations, and you're just smiling and nodding when you really don't know what's happening. And it's starting to affect more than just your language confidence. It's affecting your quality of life. You're not alone by any means, but it is time to make a change. So in today's video, I'm going to focus on the two most important elements that you need to be focused on right now in regards to your Spanish routine. Most expats aren't doing this, and it's making their progress very slow. But the ones who are doing these two things that I'm going to show you are feeling happy, confident, and making real connections with people, even though their Spanish is far from perfect. By the end of this video, you'll walk away knowing exactly what you should be focusing on right now, what's holding you back, and how to finally build the momentum you need without feeling overwhelmed. Having lived here now for over 11 years, I've seen it all when it comes to those who have come over and are successful, and then this other category here who are unsuccessful when it comes to learning Spanish. Now, as you go about your Spanish learning journey here in Mexico, there are two elements that you need to keep in mind. We have your immediate needs, and we have your ongoing practical learning. Now, I'm about to give you examples of each, but first let's illustrate it like this. Let's say that you have an urgent medical condition. Maybe you just broke your arm. That's an immediate medical need. You go to the doctor, maybe you get an x-ray, a cast, some pain relief, and specific instructions to care for yourself. That's urgent care. That's your priority in that moment. Now, you may also be told, hey, it's important that you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D. And that may be great advice that supports long-term bone health and may even prevent future injuries. But let's be honest, if you just broke your arm, and you are in pain, are you going to go grab a glass of milk to start your treatment? I don't think so. You're headed to urgent care, not the fridge, because when something's broken, you need to treat it right now. But it would also be silly to say, I'll wait until my arm heals before I start improving my diet. You can heal and grow at the same time. So you may as well start building that long-term strength now, even while you're healing. Some of you are in pain right now. You are about to move to Mexico, or you live here in Mexico, and you cannot speak Spanish confidently. It's concerning to you. You want to improve, you want to be respectful of the culture. But there are two things that you need to do. First, you need to identify your immediate needs. This could be any number of things. It could be communicating with the immigration officer. It could be finding housing, buying groceries, maybe at outdoor markets for the first time, and going to the bank, getting some transactions taken care of. Maybe for you and your situation right now, these are your urgent needs. But that's not all you want to learn. You know, at some point you'll have to go to the doctor. You'll need to be able to describe some basic medical things. Maybe you need to navigate transportation, because right now your family member is touring you around, but it won't be like that forever. Maybe some small talk so that you can start conversations with your neighbors and people you meet, and then plant the seeds for real deep communication in the future. Maybe it's talking about your interest or your hobbies, those kinds of things that you're going to need to form those relationships. And helping your mother-in-law with some household chores. So learning some vocabulary around that as well. And we could go on and on. Okay, let's take this example of housing. If you need to find a house right now, you don't need to download another app to try to help you do that. You don't need to memorize 50 more verbs. I've literally had learners tell me things like, I need to find a house and I need to be able to communicate with the landlord. Do you think that this course that I just bought will help me do that? If you take nothing else away from this video, know that out-of-the-box solutions will not solve your immediate needs. You have to solve your real-life Spanish problems right now, and so you need to reverse engineer. How do we do that? Well, you think, what is the topic? What conversations am I about to have? What questions will I be expected to understand? What answers do I need to give? You pull out specific vocabulary that you know you're going to need to use. Renta, depósito, factura, servicios incluidos, amueblado, just to name a few examples. And you know you're going to need to ask a lot of questions. That could be a focus that you have for a while, formulating questions related to this topic, asking things like, ¿Cuándo puedo ver la propiedad? ¿Está amueblado o vacío? ¿Tiene cisterna o tinaco? ¿O ambos? ¿Cuántos tinacos tiene? ¿Qué servicios están incluidos? ¿Hay contrato mínimo? This is what I mean by intentional, strategic, language learning what you need for the life you're building, not what a textbook decides you should know because you're on lesson 23. Now, although today I don't have time to get into great detail about how we do this with our clients, but I do want to invite you to my free workshop, the Next 90 Days Spanish Workshop. You can find that at the link below or by going to ericacurrylanguage.com/90days. I present several case studies to you so that you can see in greater detail how to set your own immediate needs and how to reverse engineer and break it down. And then of course, if you do need help implementing that, you can apply to work with us directly. We have open enrollments right now for students who are ready to get going and accomplish their immediate needs by fall. And now we have this other category, our ongoing practical learning. This is kind of like our healthy living category, where this was our medication and we get that immediate relief to move forward with our lives. This is like our healthy living category, and it is not to be overlooked. Because do you want to live on pills forever? Of course not. You have to be taking care of your general, overall Spanish routine as well. And it needs to be just as practical. Any of these categories could easily be over here, and any of these could easily be over here for you. This is just an example, a real student example actually, but for you it could be different. I actually have learners who need help identifying what their immediate needs are. That's one of the reasons why we do offer a free strategy session to get you very clear on your goals, very clear on the way forward, so that we can then work together to implement it. So this ongoing practical learning really works in the exact same way, in that we're reverse engineering. We have the speaking goal first set right in front of us, and then we're learning the vocabulary, the grammar that we need, and the practice, lots of practice, to bring that conversation to fulfillment. But we're not going to go as in-depth in these categories. We're going to focus most on our immediate needs. So you're not going to be able to go extremely in-depth on each grammar point that you need to bring these to fulfillment. You focus on what you can do now, the conversations that you can do now, whether those are very basic or very advanced or somewhere in between, just depending on your level. And you cycle through all of these practical categories that you need for your everyday life. And the amazing thing that starts to happen is that the two of these things start to work in harmony. As you're going deep on the grammar and the specific role play situations that you need for your immediate needs, so many of those words and so much of that grammar is going to carry over into your ongoing practical learning topics, and vice versa. So you'll find that although you start with a plan, you don't have to plan everything, because language is very dynamic. And if you have a proper routine in place, you will be learning constantly. And when you have this milestone system in place, you're going to be able to see your progress. You're going to feel really good about your learning, happy, confident. Even though you know there's so much more to learn, there's always more to learn. Before I came to Mexico, I spoke Spanish. I was an interpreter. I'd been an interpreter for 6 years. But I still learned words that were very specific to my region here. I didn't have to think about cisternas and tinacos in the States. I did not understand why in our first apartment I had run out of water. I had no idea how the water system worked. I had never had to say cisterna or tinaco in my entire life. So we are always learning. But even though we always have so much more to learn, the satisfaction that we feel when we know that we're on the path and we're seeing our progress, there's nothing like that. Again, if you'd like to work with me and my team to set up this entire system for you and help you implement, the information is right in the description box. We are currently enrolling this month of May, so don't delay. Spots are very limited. Today we've talked about topics, but if you're wanting to go deeper into how to learn grammar with this method, check out this video next.